Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Kevin with survivalistboards.com, and we are looking at some chicken feeders and chicken waterers. If y'all been keeping up on my chicken coop project, y'all know that I built a coop and we've got 13 chickens in here, and I don't know how this is going to work out. We've got a little over 3 square feet per chicken. Now right there is just in here for them to jump from the perch onto a solid board instead of landing on the wire mesh. They seem to like landing on something solid as compared to landing on the wire mesh. The ramp is over there, goes down, let them out in the evening, and they are down there just tearing that ground up. They like to get down there and just waller in it and roll in it. I need to get some sand and throw down there, but my wife and I, we've been moving the chicken coop back and forth so that the ground, whenever they crap on the ground, this is the shavings, that they can like give this time to air out. And I throw some seeds down there. Hopefully they'll be sprouting. Give them chickens something to eat on. Besides the coop, what I've learned is my wife and I started out with 2 of these little small waterers, and they're drinking at least 1 of these a day. Hot weather is just around the corner, so they're going to be drinking more water. I've got the 1 gallon. And today I upgraded to the 3 gallon. This is the last part of April. We're 1 week away from May. Whenever May gets here, we usually start having temperatures, say in the low 80s. I mean upper 80s, low 90s. To make sure that they've got chickens have got plenty of water to drink, we're going to be eliminating this little 1 quart waterer, and just probably going to be using a 3 gallon upstairs. That unscrews. Water comes out through there. Now where'd it go? There it is. Put that up here. The reason why I wanted this is so that I don't have to keep taking it out of the water, out of the coop every day to refill it. This one here, I have to take it out, turn it over, fill it up, put the lid on it, turn it back over. So it's kind of a hassle. So I wanted this one here. They make a 5 gallon waterer with a top on it. We'll have to see how the 3 gallon goes. This one here, you just unscrew the top, put the water hose in there, wash it out, fill it up, and go from there. Try to wash the dust off of it. It was on the top shelf at the feed store. First thing I noticed is that this top has to be screwed on real good to create a vacuum so the water just doesn't flow out. So I had to screw this down real good. I don't know what will happen if that O-ring ever goes out or if it gets a crack or something in it. Oh well, we'll just have to see how it does. Put this in there for the chickens, see how they like it. I gotta fill their feeder up. Now the chickens are 2 months old, and hopefully they'll start laying here pretty soon. Some crap is building up on some of the boards. Well, I need to adjust the perch. I'm thinking about adjusting the perch so it's directly over the board. So whenever they crap, it'll go to the side of the board instead of on top of it. I'm going to be adding a big vent window over there probably this weekend so that they can catch a cross draft. I'm going to add a vent window where they can stand on the ground and look out of it, probably about 22-23 inches big or wide. And I'm going to add another vent window here so that a crosswind can go all the way through the coop in the hot weather. And for top ventilation, we've got the window up here. That's 7.5 by 30 inches. And this is going to be a window for the chicken coop. We're using 1x8s, just regular pine 1x8s. And for the frames of the window, we're going to be using treated 1x4s. This is 1x12s. Sorry, 1x12. I've got a 1x8 in there we're going to be putting on the other side. Very much like this one to here. This is a 1x4, treated 1x4. And I should have drilled a pilot hole in that because whenever I put the screw in, it split. What we're going to do is we're going to cut a hole in the plywood. We're going to put some boards on the back side, secure them with temporary screws, then put the boards on the outside. The screen is going to overlap about 2 inches on each side. So this screw here goes through that board, through the screen, through the plywood, and into the board on the other side. In other words, it's not going anywhere. During bad weather, I can fold that down and latch it. That's how we're going to be doing the window we're going to be installing over here. We're going to be putting a window here 22 inches high by about 22.5 inches wide. It's going to open. It's going to have a latch here. We're going to latch on the other side to help hold it open. And we're going to have a latch in the middle so we can close the doors during bad weather. Since we're using yellow pine, everything's going to have to be painted. And let's get to work. First thing we did was lay out a square a little bit larger than the boards. While we were in here, I saw that this perch was to the side of that support beam right there, and they were crapping on it. So while we've got this side off, I'm going to go ahead and reposition these perches so that the majority of the crap will not fall on that support beam. I'm going to put the perch directly under it, so as their butt sticking out a little bit to the side, hopefully it will fall to the side of that support beam and not on top of it. I want to keep the poop in here to the minimum. And we just moved the coop over a couple of days ago, so they've got good fresh ground to play on. Having fun. But anyway, back to this. While we were in here, we looked, saw what we needed to change, if we needed to move anything. Went ahead and put a coat of paint on the edge of the plywood. Now, this is not treated. It's regular 3/8 plywood. I went ahead and put a coat of paint on the outside, on this edge right here, and on the inside where we're going to be clamping some 1x4s. The first 1x4 that we have is cut 7 inches longer. I'm sorry, yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's cut so that whenever we'll have some hanging over 7 inches long. That's right. This will be hanging over on the inside. Whenever I put the piece on the outside, it'll go through the 1x4 on the outside, through the wire, through the plywood, and into this one. And it'll be the same thing on both sides. We have the C-clamps holding the board in place. That's it right there. Remember, this is a treated 1x4. It's overhanging 3.5 inches on the inside, flush on the bottom side, or pretty flush anyway. And we'll take some. I'm only going to put 2 of these temporary screws in here to hold that board in place. Whoops. I'm only going to put 2 of these, one on each end. It's temporary, just to hold it in place. We've got our boards secured in place with a couple of temporary screws in each one. Well, they're not temporary, they're going to stay, but they're just holding the board on. Those are the temporary support screws. We're going to be running some longer screws, do everything whenever it's assembled. The wire hangs over 2.5 inches. I've got just a staple here and a staple there holding it square. Try to line it up. What we're going to do is we're going to come in and put a 1x4 over that, and that 1x4 is going to pull everything tight. And we're going to put, now remember that this 1x4 on the inside stops right there and goes down to the bottom. The 1x4 on the outside is going to go all the way up over the 2x4, so they'll be overlapping. The board on the inside goes 3.5 inches over here. The board on the outside is going to go all the way up here 3.5 inches. So they'll be overlapping there. Hopefully there won't be a weak spot right here. And here's our basic frame. Is that we may need to left a little bit of a gap over here, about 1/8 of an inch, so we can move this in and out just a little bit if we need to. to get the wire. Came in and cut it right there, then stapled it, alternating staples going down for added strength. And what I want to make sure is that nothing gets in or out of here. See how this got a little bit of slack in it? Hope y'all can. Got a little bit of slack in it, but whenever we put those extra screws through there, whenever we put the hinges will go through this board, through the wire, through the plywood, and into the board on the back side. Each hinge has 3 screws in it. We're using inch and 5/8 long screws. So hopefully it'll hold real good without going through the other board. Is that I want the screws should be able to countersink about 1/8 of an inch without going through the back side and posing any kind of like cutting or scratching hazard to the chickens. The screws should not be sticking out the other side where the chickens can brush up against it and cut themselves. That's what the basic frame looks like. Secured all the way around, and then we'll come in and put our doors on with the hinges and latch. Here's our first door that's been mounted. It's a little snug up here on top, which is fine with me. Swings open, and we're going to see this seam right here where the plywood comes together. We're going to have a piece of treated 1x4 covering that seam. Probably going to put a coat of paint on there to finish painting this exposed or bare wood. And I'm going to put a piece in. I need a little bit more wood, more paint on that. And I'm going to put a piece of 1x4, treated 1x4 over that seam to keep water from getting into there. This door will come open, hit that, and then latch. I've got a dog latch, or just a real simple latch, that I'm probably going to take and put like right here. And bring that door open and just latch it. Here's a 2-inch long screw, and this is what I was talking about. See how that goes through both boards? This goes through the hinge, through the wire, through the plywood, and into the board on the back side. So it pulls everything up real nice and tight. Got one there. I'm probably going to come down and put like another one in here somewhere. And remember that wire goes over 2.5 inches. That wire is 1 inch from that edge right there. So as long as I stay within 2.5 inches, that screw will go through the wood, through the wire, and before I'm done, and whenever I'm done, this wire will be solid where nothing can get through it. Here's our completed door, except for little latches I want to put here so the wind doesn't blow the door closed. And I'm going to put a latch right here so that I can close the door and then latch it closed. Whenever we're getting a lot of rain or wind, winter gets here, I'll be able to take this door and latch it closed, stop the cold air from blowing in on the chickens. Down here I cut it, pushed it in, nail here, we'll staple here, galvanized staple, here, here, and they're alternating, here, 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 and they're alternating all the way down, then 2 more on this end. So nothing can get up underneath here. Pull this hardware cloth out. I might need to put me another one right there just for the fun of it. But they're alternating for extra strength. So nothing can get in here and just pull it out. Even if something gets up here and pushes in, I'm going to put these screws through here. Whenever we're done, nothing will be able to get through this hardware cloth.